Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joel Perez here from the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel, and this is Behind the Mic, the weekly episodic news show where we cover all the news in the WWE, all the biggest news in the WWE for the week. This is Behind the Mic, episode number 27, and we do have some huge news for you here today. Some huge bomb drops just dropped last night on Friday. This is going up Saturday, probably 3 a.m. in the morning, but it is 12:10 here when I am recording this. It is Friday or Saturday already, and yes, a bunch of news dropped yesterday, since this is going up on Saturday. A bunch of news dropped yesterday. A bunch of shit. AJ Styles just won the United States Championship from Kevin Owens on a goddamn house show. Jesus Christ. We're talking about it. Austin Aries released from the WWE. Outrageous news right there. WWE rumors on plans to have the first ever Women's Royal Rumble. That is some huge news right there. Seth Rollins talking about a dream match, hyping it up, a dream match with The Rock. We're talking Brock Lesnar leaving the WWE when his contract expires, and Randy Orton taking time off to, do something. Randy Orton taking time off. How is that going to impact Smackdown Live? We've got all that huge news and so much more right here on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. So you, ladies and gentlemen, have one job to do. I make this video for you, and you guys click on that subscribe button. Since we're talking about AJ Styles, why don't you hit that subscribe button with the Styles Clash? It put a smile on my face if you hit that subscribe button, and it put a smile on your face because you got all the excellent content that comes with the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. You got Monday Night Raw and SmackDown reviews each and every single week. Those Raw and SmackDown reviews are up for this week. Every single pay-per-view, there is a preview and predictions video for. Preview and predictions was uploaded last night on Thursday, so make sure to go check that out. Every single pay-per-view has a review as well. This Sunday, WWE Great Balls of Fire. Preview and predictions were up last night. On Sunday, after that show goes off the air, there will be a review up. And of course, Behind the Mic, the show you're watching right now, each and every single Saturday, covering all the news in the WWE. For now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go straight into the news story, so make sure to stay tuned to Behind the Mic, episode number 27. We're gonna start off with some of the most surprising and outrageous news that I have heard in a while. AJ Styles wins the United States Championship from Kevin Owens on the Madison Square Garden Heatwave Tour house show. What the fuck is the idea with this one? In a huge surprising moment, the WWE had a major title change hands on its house show on Friday night at Madison Square Garden. In the United States Championship match between Kevin Owens and AJ Styles, it was AJ Styles who shocked the entire crowd and won his first U.S. Championship title. The moment was shared with the video on Twitter as AJ Styles celebrated with his new title. This is a huge move for the WWE, who rarely has a title change hands outside of television shows or pay-per-view events in today's wrestling landscape. As a matter of fact, in the old days, titles could change hands on house shows, but would return to the champion in a rematch on another house show, and the WWE would never acknowledge it. There were even world title reigns that have been ignored because they happened at house shows. Nature Boy Ric Flair has more than 16 world title reigns, but the WWE considered those house show losses obsolete when adding up his title reigns. With that said, the advent of social media has made this impossible. As soon as AJ Styles beat Kevin Owens for the United States title, numerous photos popped up on Twitter, as well as the video embedded below. There is no way to hide title changes when everyone in the arena has a smartphone and a Twitter or Facebook account. Once the AJ Styles victory over Kevin Owens for the United States Championship went live on Twitter, it wasn't long before wrestling websites, like the one I'm reading right now, began to report it, and the news spread fast. The WWE chose not to hide it from the AJ Styles victory after it was shared on Twitter. 411 Mania reported that the WWE acknowledged the AJ Styles title win by sending out an alert through the WWE app. This let everyone with the app on their phones know that AJ Styles is the new United States Champion. While something like this, AJ Styles' United States title win is rare, the WWE did a similar move on the NXT brand. Samoa Joe won the NXT Championship from Finn Balor at a house show in Lowell, Massachusetts. This was hugely surprising because Balor was the longest reigning NXT champion of all time, and he lost the the title in a non-televised event. It was also ironic because Samoa Joe also won the TNA Impact Wrestling World title at the same arena years before. AJ Styles winning the United States Championship from Kevin Owens at Madison Square Garden does nothing to change the current storyline. AJ Styles had already won the rights to challenge for the title at Battlegrounds, and the match against Kevin Owens is still likely to take place, but with AJ Styles as the champion instead. This is mind-boggling. This is absolutely mind-boggling. I understand why WWE did it. Don't get me wrong. The clear motive behind this move is to bring up house show attendance numbers. House show attendance numbers have been declining at a steady rate for a long time now, and WWE needed to do something that would shake it up and make people say, holy shit, it might actually pay off to go to a goddamn house show. Because now, people have it in their minds, or this is what WWE was going for at least, shit, if I go to a house show, there might be a title change. Look at AJ Styles. He won his United States Championship at a house show. So people are putting two and two together. That's at least what WWE hopes happens. And they buy more house show tickets because now people are under the impression that actual things or title changes and important events could possibly happen at a house show, thus bringing up the intrigue of the house show. And it is a relatively smart business idea. But when it comes to storyline, this is an absolute mess, bro. Really? Really? I mean, I understand why you did it with the United States Championship. AJ Styles is a huge name. This was a marquee matchup going into Battleground. It's been a marquee feud on Smackdown. I get it. But the thing that bothers me is the fact that you did this with absolutely no warning whatsoever. At least last year, when Samoa Joe won the title from Finn Balor on Lowell, Massachusetts, I think they actually promoted the fact that there was going to be an NXT Championship match on NXT at Lowell, Massachusetts at a house show. They promoted that. Why the hell didn't you promote the fact that AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens was going to be at this house show at the Heatwave Tour? Why didn't you promote that was going on? What? I mean, really, what is the motive there? Another thing to look at. Didn't Kevin Owens just win the title like a month and a half ago? Really? What is with these bullshit title reigns? He won it at WrestleMania, lost it to Chris Jericho at WWE Payback, won it back 2 days later, and now he's losing it a month and a half later? What is that, bro? What is that? Why are you flip-flopping titles at such a drastic rate? Why does that need to happen? That's devaluing the goddamn title. That really is, bro. That really goddamn is. That's one thing that pisses me off there. Another thing that pisses me off is Kevin Owens was a damn good champion. Kevin Owens, that title, having that title around his waist was benefiting Kevin Owens. And I wanted to see this feud between Kevin Owens and AJ Styles go somewhere cool. And, I mean, another thing here, there's a bunch of shit. Another thing, AJ Styles. Don't you think that AJ Styles is above the United States Championship? Really, where does this fit in to the plans of AJ Styles? AJ Styles, the plan for AJ Styles, at least in my mind, is for him to be built up along the year, or what I would have done with AJ Styles going to SummerSlam, because at this point, it's not happening anymore. What I would have done is you build the guy up, you fucking have him go into a match against Jinder Mahal at SummerSlam for the WWE Championship. He wins the title from Jinder Mahal, manages to clear from all the bullshit. Baron Corbin comes down, cashes in on AJ Styles, and AJ Styles' second WWE title reign is cut short by the new WWE Champion, Baron Corbin. From there, you have that rivalry go on. You can have AJ Styles win the title back. You can do, in the meanwhile, whatever the hell you want, going into the Royal Rumble, where Shinsuke Nakamura wins the WWE, or the Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble. Shinsuke Nakamura wins the Royal Rumble. AJ Styles wins the WWE Championship back sometime, and you go into WrestleMania with AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the WWE Championship. Now I'm left wondering, what the fuck are you going to do? Now I'm left scratching my head, because I think that WWE is planning to have AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura at SummerSlam for the United States Championship. And that is a scary, scary, scary fact. I could see it now. Battleground. Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles. AJ Styles retains. Owens goes on to doing something different. And then the rumored match. AJ Styles versus Nakamura at SummerSlam instead of WrestleMania, where it should be, for the WWE Championship on the grandest stage of them all, because people were complaining when they heard the rumors that there's no logical explanation now. Now they're going to use the fact that Shinsuke Nakamura has beaten the former United States Championship like 3 or 4 times, because he did beat Kevin Owens like how many goddamn times, and that's going to allow Shinsuke Nakamura to be elevated to get a United States Championship shot, which that's not really an elevation if you think about it. Bad wording on my part, but that's going to bring Nakamura to a United States Championship match, and who happens to be holding the United States Championship? Oh, I don't know, AJ Styles. AJ Styles versus Nakamura at SummerSlam. That sounds absolutely awful. That sounds absolutely awful, and I can see this being the planting of the seeds for that. And it's really nerve-wracking, bro. It's really nerve-wracking, because when WWE can save that match for WrestleMania, when WWE could have had a nice feud on their hands going into SummerSlam with AJ Styles and Kevin Owens, now you're throwing shit out the window just so your house show numbers can go up, and just so you can plan for a match that should happen 8 months from now anyways. Makes no goddamn sense to me. Absolutely bullshit, idiotic booking decisions by WWE. There's no reason AJ Styles should have won the United States Championship on a house show. This is AJ Styles, bro. I don't care if you were in Madison Square Garden. I do not care. Madison Square Garden is not the venue that it used to be back in the 80s and the 90s. It's not the venue that it used to be, Madison Square Garden. I don't give a fuck if they were at Madison Square Garden. I don't care if they were on their SummerSlam Heatwave tour. I don't care if they were in New York. I don't care if they were in heaven, in the middle of the fucking capital of heaven, bro. It doesn't matter. It's still not big enough. You needed to have this happen on television if it was going to happen at all. And now, what a lot of people wanted to see on television, to see AJ Styles win the United States Championship, now it's on some goddamn house show. Makes no goddamn sense to me whatsoever at all. And I could totally see either us getting AJ Styles versus Nakamura for the United States Championship, a B-level title at SummerSlam instead of the WWE Championship at WrestleMania, which sounds a lot better to me. I don't know about you. I can see that happening. Or Kevin Owens just winning the United States Championship back at Battleground anyways. So I don't know what the fuck WWE is thinking here, but the flip-flopping of the title, the absolute retarded booking decision, I mean, I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. It makes no sense that AJ Styles is holding the United States Championship right now. I mean, I don't understand it. But WWE for you. WWE, they'll do anything to get their house show numbers up and to rush. Because Nakamura versus Styles, rush. Breaking up Evento and Cass, rush. Everything, rush. And it fucks them in the ass. And you know what? It's hilarious when it fucks them in the ass. But it's not going to be hilarious this time because I actually care about Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles. And I mean, Jesus Christ, it looks like we're going to get a shit show out of that feud anyway. So I don't know what WWE is thinking. But for now, let's move on to another ridiculous decision that they've made. And it has to do with Austin Aries. Let's move on. Now, this story just has me completely mind-boggled on every single level. Austin Aries released from the WWE. What the fuck? WWE Cruiserweight standout Austin Aries has been released from his contract. The company announced Friday over Twitter and it's on its official website. Prior to his stints with WWE's developmental territory, NXT, and the company's cruiserweight division, the 39-year-old Rio Soulwood was an established veteran of the U.S. independent wrestling scene and has spent several years competing in both Ring of Honor and TNA, now GFW. Most notably, Aries had won the TNA World Heavyweight Championship in the company's Bound for Glory pay-per-view in October 2012, defeating Jeff Hardy for the title, as PW Torch recapped. Austin Aries was released from TNA in 2015, and after a brief stint in ROH, he signed a contract with WWE in January 2016. He made his NXT debut as a developmental talent 2 months later, and after commentary on multiple WWE television shows. He was absolutely fantastic on commentary as well, including the cruiserweight-centric 205 Live. Fortunately for Aries, he recovered right in time to kick off a feud with the Cruiserweight Champion Neville, and while he was unsuccessful in challenging for his title at WrestleMania 33, their match as well as their feud in general was generally well reviewed, with ProWrestling.net noting that it was nice to see Aries go from working local indies to working his first WrestleMania match. Aries had last wrestled at WWE's Extreme Rules pay-per-view on June 4th, where he again failed to win Neville's Cruiserweight Championship. He later announced that he would be taking some time off from wrestling, and as he told the Busted Open podcast, he simply needed to recover from some injuries. Interestingly, he did not go into any further specifics. Quote, "So I got a couple things going on, and obviously at this point it might be a good time to take a little break, which really could consist of 2 days to just adjust some of those things, try and get my mind and my body right, and then we'll come back and figure out what's going to be next and what the direction's gonna be." As WWE kept its news on Austin Aries' release short and succinct as possible. What the hell? But succinct as possible. It's not known whether his departure is related to injuries or not, but the indie wrestling veteran turned Cruiserweight Championship contender did post a few tweets after the news broke, seemingly taking things in stride as he prepares for the next stage in his wrestling career. Austin Aries' release is likely to trigger some talks of upcoming future endeavors within the WWE roster. Fan jargon for talent getting released from their contracts, oftentimes en masse in the spring. As seen on Smarkout Moments list of WWE releases for 2017, There haven't been any match releases of note this year, but the last time WWE released a slew of talent was in the early summer months, came in June 2014, when more than 10 wrestlers were cut from the company's roster, including recent returnees Jinder Mahal, Drew McIntyre, and Kurt Hawkins. So, clearly, things of this caliber have happened before. Last year, the mass amount of releases did happen. You saw Damian Sandow get released. I think Wade Barrett was in that list. Just a bunch of people who really, one of the more noticeable ones was Alex Riley, who was doing some good work down in NXT. So there was a lot of stuff. And the fact that Austin Aries is released, that's really a bummer, bro. That's really a bummer. Austin Aries could have gone on to do great things for WWE. I could have seen him easily winning a Cruiserweight Championship. Oh my God, he would have been, or not a Cruiserweight Championship, Intercontinental Championship, I should say. He was so above the Cruiserweight division, so talented is Austin Aries. I could see him going into a great feud with The Miz, pretty much anybody on the WWE roster. And the fact that they let him go, I'm hearing rumors that he asked for his release. I'm not sure. I don't have specific details yet on what the terms of his release were. But I mean, Austin Aries is so goddamn talented. I mean, he could really do it all. He was a goddamn star. In-ring ability, commentaries, entertaining, promos, fantastic, all that good stuff came in a package with Austin Aries. He really had a lot of years on the indies to perfect his package and come to WWE and really shine. And he did shine. He was great in NXT. Great matches with Nakamura. And Corbin and him had a good match. And just a lot of good stuff from Austin Aries while he was down in NXT. Then you go to the Cruiserweight division. Fantastic match with Neville at WrestleMania. Probably the best Cruiserweight feud we've seen coming out of the Cruiserweight Classic, which really isn't saying much because the Cruiserweight Classic was absolutely fantastic, and what we've seen now is absolutely fucking terrible. But the best feud in the Cruiserweights came from Austin Aries and Neville. And now Austin Aries, a guy who really could have done it all. You could have put him in that commentary table. Absolutely fantastic. You could put him in that Cruiserweight division. Absolutely an asset to that division. You can put him in the mid-card. He would be a great Intercontinental Champion. Hell, I could see him going close, very, very close to the main event scene, and he'd probably do a damn good job. And now, especially in this stage of a brand split that you're in, yeah, you have a lot of goddamn talent, and that's not to be denied. You have a lot of talent, but do you really think you're still in the position to be getting comfortable and releasing superstars like this, especially superstars of the caliber of Austin Aries? If it is true that WWE is starting their releases for the summer, or their list of yearly releases, it scares me that they're starting off with talent the caliber of an Austin Aries. If you're starting off with an Austin Aries, imagine how many people under that are going to be released as well. I mean, Jesus Christ, I could see a Bo Dallas getting cut, a Curtis Axel getting cut, all hands that, if booked correctly, could be absolutely fantastic, and WWE just isn't using. So I don't understand why Austin Aries was released. He could have done great things in the WWE. I could have seen him stepping out of the Cruiserweight division, coming to the mid-card, having a great feud with The Miz, great feud with Apollo Crews. He was a great heel. He was a great babyface. I mean, just everything that Austin Aries did was, well, just absolutely fantastic. What was his catchphrase? It was, he's the greatest man to ever live. And he lives up to the moniker. He's a double Austin Aries. And I mean, I do not understand why the fuck WWE would let this guy go. Absolutely mind-boggling to me. But I mean, that's just the way it is when you're running a goddamn company. When Vince McMahon, when a 70-year-old old man is running a goddamn company with the fucking beaver tooth squirrel that is Kevin Dunn. Makes no goddamn sense to me. Austin Aries should be in the WWE right now, and unfortunately, he has been released. But for now, we've got to move on to the next news story. Moving on from that quite depressing news and that quite mind-boggling news with AJ Styles and then the Austin Aries release, we've got some exciting news over here. Yeah, that exists, bro. That exists because WWE is planning, or there are rumors of WWE planning, so take this with a grain of salt, it is a rumor. WWE is planning the first ever Women's Royal Rumble match for next January. As most wrestling fans will tell you, women's wrestling hasn't had it this good. What with the likes of Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, and Alexa Bliss having established themselves on WWE television, but could the so-called Women's Revolution include a Women's Royal Rumble match at the pay-per-view of the same name, marking a historical first in the event's long history? That's what the WWE rumor mill seems to be suggesting right now, according to a report from the Wrestling Observer newsletter via WrestleZone. WWE has some big plans for the coming year. Plans that may include a Women's Royal Rumble match at next January's Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Details are lacking and discussions are reportedly still in the early stages, but this WWE rumor tells us that the company's female talents may finally get to do what the men have generally been doing for close to 3 decades, taking part in an over-the-top battle royal with timed entrances, as has always been the case in Royal Rumble's titular main event. As noted by Forbes earlier this year, only 3 women have entered the otherwise all-male Royal Rumble match since its inception in 1988. Chyna, WWE Hall of Famer Beth Phoenix, and Karma, aka Awesome Kong, in the former TNA Wrestling. All 3 of these women were impressively built females for their time, but if WWE does introduce a Women's Royal Rumble in 2018, this could be an opportunity for WWE's female wrestlers, regardless of size or builds, to mark another first in women's wrestling history. Details of WWE's rumored Women's Royal Rumble match may not be plentiful at this point, but What Culture wrote that this isn't the first time such an idea has been thrown around. Earlier this year, former Raw Women's Champion Bayley told the Pile Driver podcast that a Women's Rumble match would be a good idea, but only if more women were involved to make the match look interesting. We don't have many girls. Even if it was Raw and SmackDown combined, I don't think it would make 20. If we had more girls brought in, maybe like NXT girls, that would be really cool, and I think it would be a lot of fun. Last month, inaugural SmackDown Live, Women's Champion Becky Lynch chimed in with her thoughts as she spoke to Amarillo, I don't know, .com, predicting that a Women's Rumble match may be a year or 2 away. Due to the increased attention WWE is giving to its female wrestlers, would you like to see WWE keep pushing its women revolution forward? I would definitely love to see it. A Women's Royal Rumble match is now more possible than ever. I mean, you have the Mae Young Classic, which is going to bring a bunch of women in. With 32 women's competitors from all around the world, you have so many fantastic competitors in that tournament that we've seen already. You got Kairi Hojo, who has been talked about, or Kairi Sane they're calling her. I don't know what the fuck they're calling her now. But Kairi Hojo coming in. You got Bianca Belair, which we've seen. I mean, there's going to be just a lot more talent on both Raw and SmackDown Live going up over the next couple months with this Mae Young Classic. NXT is going to be replenished. It's going to allow the girls who are already in NXT, the Asuka, the Peyton Royce, and Billie Kay, those women who are already in NXT, it's going to allow them to come up to the main roster, fill some holes that are on the main roster right now, and it's going to allow the women in this tournament the big names that we've already seen to take over in NXT and just really tear the house down. Things are looking exciting for the future of women's wrestling, and I think this Royal Rumble match is the next place that you can take it. I can totally see it now. Asuka winning the Women's Royal Rumble match to go on to and win herself a ticket to WrestleMania with the Women's Champion, who presumably, in my mind, would be Charlotte Flair, and you do the dream match of Charlotte versus Asuka at WrestleMania 34. You can have a Royal Rumble filled with a bunch of women. Asuka, who would be at the main roster at that point. Billie Kay, Peyton Royce, who would be in the main roster at that point as well. Alexa Bliss, if she's not women's champion. The two people who I'm predicting to be women's champion by WrestleMania or Royal Rumble time next year are Charlotte and I'd go Sasha Banks. I'd realistically go Sasha Banks. You could throw Carmella in there, Becky Lynch, Natalya, of course, Tamina, Nia Jax, Mickie James, that's 11. Unfortunately, Dana Brooke. Whoever you feel is worthy to go up to the main roster, straight to the main roster from that Mae Young Classic, you'd be able to fill it. You would be able to fill, at this point in time, a women's Royal Rumble, and it would be really exciting. I think you can possibly even go up to 30 women. There's going to be 32 women in the Mae Young Classic. I'm saying at least 16 of those women are going to be signed. How many people got signed to the Cruiserweight division, to 205 Live? It was like a good 12 out of the 32. You signed 12 women. I think that's going to help you out a lot. It's going to replenish NXT fully depending on where these women go, and it's going to be very, very exciting. By January next year, we're going to be looking at some exciting women's division. Throw Emma in there. I forgot that name as well on Monday Night Raw. Just a lot of competition going around in the women's division right now, and this is a division that WWE, fuck the cruiserweights, fuck the tag team division is what it's looking like. WWE wants to push the women to the top, and I understand that because women's wrestling really has caught on fire over the past few years, and the way to make history in this women's division is not through a Hell in a Cell match. It's not through all those bullshit manners. It's through doing something like this, giving the women's more opportunity, adding more depth to that division. And I feel like doing the Money in the Bank that we just saw a month ago. Has it been a month already since Money in the Bank? But the Money in the Bank, doing the Money in the Bank, it adds depth to the women's division because now you have that briefcase in there, and that's another variable. Now with the Royal Rumble, that's another variable. Could we see an Elimination Chamber match? I'm not sure about that just yet, but there's a lot of stuff that the women still have yet to do, and I think the future of women's wrestling is just getting more and more exciting, and this Mae Young Classic is going to spearhead that. So for now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on here, but I would love to see a women's Royal Rumble match. We got this news on Randy Orton going on a hiatus over here. I don't know what's going on here with Randy Orton. Randy Orton taking some time off, and how will it affect WWE Battleground going forward? What does it say here? Randy Orton dropped the WWE Championship to Jinder Mahal at WWE Backlash, and the two have been at war since over the title. Their rematch took place at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view last month, with Mahal coming out on top again. Now their conflict will culminate in a third match at WWE Battlegrounds in a few weeks, but there's some speculation regarding Randy Orton's status heading into their final match. It's being reported that the former WWE Champion will be taking some time off from WWE programming, but the initial assumption is that he will be taking some time after WWE Battlegrounds. However, Orton will be taking some time off before the pay-per-view to film Changelands with Seth Green. The Viper is expected to miss next week's edition of Smackdown Live, but he will return for the July 18th edition before Battlegrounds. The WWE Universe has nothing to fear because Orton is expected to miss one edition of Smackdown Live before the Punjabi prison match that is likely going to be the final match in their rivalry, as both men will be moving on into their feuds for WWE SummerSlam later this summer. The likelihood of Randy Orton reclaiming the WWE title from Jinder Mahal is low. Mahal has done a great job as Smackdown Live top heel. I'm not sure about that, but whatever. And the company's expansion into India is still happening. It's unlikely a huge title change would happen only a month before WWE SummerSlam. Orton has done an excellent job putting over Mahal as well, which should result in a huge match for him during WWE's biggest show of the summer. However, any creative plans for Randy Orton after WWE Battlegrounds have yet to be revealed. Orton has also missed some time on WWE's house shows, but that is because his schedule has become much lighter over recent years. The Viper has been booked as the top babyface on SmackDown Live since winning the WWE title at WrestleMania 33. WWE officials don't consider John Cena the face of the blue brand any longer, which is clear by his free agent status. So the role fell into Randy Orton's lap while Cena was away. With Orton likely being taken out of the WWE title hunt after Battleground, the WWE Universe is curious about what role he will be booked in heading into WWE SummerSlam. There are many feuds and matches for him to have on SmackDown Live, but the fans will have to wait a few more weeks to see what the powers that be have planned for him. Right now, Orton's goal is to cement Jinder Mahal as a main event talent. First of all, I just want to address Randy Orton's not the face of fucking SmackDown. If anybody's the face of SmackDown right now, it's AJ Styles, it's Shinsuke Nakamura, it's Randy Orton combined. It's that combined. SmackDown has some huge faces on their brands here at the current state that they're in. They have Randy Orton, they have Rusev, they have Jinder Mahal, they have AJ Styles, they have Kevin Owens, they have Sami Zayn, they have Baron Corbin, they have Mike Kanellis, they have Ty Dillinger, they have all these talents, Luke Harper. They have a beautiful roster. There's no need for there to be a overwhelming babyface who's fucking just overarching and overshadowing everybody. Yes, John Cena, when he is there, is the face of the WWE, but that does not mean that he is the face, or that Randy Orton is the face of SmackDown when John Cena is gone. I mean, really, no. Really, no. I mean, Jesus Christ. Randy Orton has been an awful babyface. Nobody has any vested interest in him. This feud with Jinder Mahal has been subpar at best, and there's really nothing of avail going on there. Randy Orton taking some time off. He better not miss SummerSlam. SummerSlam is a huge pay-per-view for WWE, biggest event of the summer, and I think he can have a big match going into SummerSlam the way I book SummerSlam. You have Randy Orton versus AJ Styles. Randy Orton versus AJ Styles. Obviously, that might be fucking postponed now because of the fact that AJ Styles retardedly is now United States Champion, which makes no fucking goddamn sense to me. But WWE for you, right? But he will be taking some time off. It's fucking weak. Who gives a crap? After WWE Battlegrounds, who gives? He wants to take time off after SummerSlam. Nobody. It wouldn't matter. It really wouldn't matter if Randy Orton took some time off after SummerSlam. But before SummerSlam, going into SummerSlam, before Battlegrounds, Randy Orton needs to be there. After that, you could care less. The SmackDown Live roster is full. Randy Orton's really doing nothing as a babyface. And if he turned heel, yeah, I'd be fucking crying to see him go. But really, there's nothing interesting going on with Randy Orton right now. So he will be taking a week off next week on SmackDown. But it really does not matter. Jinder Mahal will build fine. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens in the Punjabi prison match. Because the modern day Maharaja will go against the Viper, Randy Orton. So let's move on here to the next news story. We got this news story on Seth Rollins and The Rock. This is really out of the blue. Why would you pick Seth Rollins out of all people to go against The Rock? Look at the people and the dream matches that you can do with The Rock right now on WWE television. Ever thought of doing Brock versus Rock 2? Ever thought of doing Kurt Angle versus The Rock? I mean, Jesus Christ, why not do those matches? Those would do absolutely huge business. How about a Samoa Joe versus The Rock? WWE's always had in their plans the Roman Reigns versus The Rock match. I mean, why Seth Rollins? Where the fuck does a Seth Rollins dream match come off? But let's read this article. Ever since The Rock's match at WrestleMania 29, the WWE Universe has been speculating if the Great One could have another match inside a WWE ring. Numerous performers would like the chance to face the People's Champion on the grandest stage of them all, but the likelihood of Dwayne Johnson taking the risk to have another match continues to be unlikely, with his commitments to Hollywood being his top priority. At WrestleMania 33, Seth Rollins defeated Triple H for one of the biggest victories of his career. Since then, he's dubbed himself the Kingslayer. For the first time in 7 years, The Rock didn't make an appearance on the grandest stage of them all because of the filming schedule for Ballers, which didn't allow him to get any time away for the event. However, it is possible that Rock and Rollins could have big moments again next year together. The WWE Universe is always looking for new matchups, especially with someone like The Rock. Seth Rollins was recently asked by a fan on social media if he'd be interested in a match with the People's Champion on the grandest stage of them all. Rather than just say that he would and move on, Rollins posted the following challenge on social media, mentioning that WrestleMania 34 in New Orleans is only 8 months away. He tweeted, "I mean, Mania is like 8 months away, ... and then the thinking emoji, so I don't know about that. Obviously, it would take a lot of the People's Champion to make his return to the ring for a match with any WWE superstar. He would have to want to have the match, work it out with his schedule, and appear a lot more on WWE programming. The powers that be would love to have The Rock back on Raw and Smackdown Live on a more regular basis. Imagine the ratings boost for WWE there. Oh my god, that would make Vince McMahon hard, but WWE officials would likely prefer him to face someone besides Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is one of the top performers the company has on the roster, but the mainstream exposure Seth has isn't as strong as other stars on the roster. Frankly, a WrestleMania match between The Rock and Brock Lesnar, or unfortunately Roman Reigns, would likely result in a lot more money for WWE than a match with Rollins would. Obviously, the Kingslayer is having some fun on social media. However, big matches have started after social media gets a hold of a potential matchup. Earlier this year, AJ Styles versus Shawn Michaels seemed like a real possibility because the fans pushed for it on social media. I pushed for it. I made a video on that. Go back in the archives of the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. You could probably find that. It's unlikely that The Rock versus Seth Rollins will happen anytime soon, but it's one of the many matches that could happen if Rock ever gets back in the ring. Why would you have Rock versus Seth Rollins? I mean, that's absolutely awful. That would be an absolutely waste of a Rock return. Why not The Rock versus AJ Styles? Imagine that, bro. Imagine that. The most electrifying WWE superstar of all time versus the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. Look at that one. Rock versus Brock 2. That would be fantastic. Samoa Joe versus the Samoan Rock. You could have Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, or Rock. That would have to be a Roman Reigns heel turn if you ask me, but that's just my opinion right there. Kurt Angle is currently on the fucking WWE roster, or you could say as a general manager. Kurt Angle is there. Why would you have Seth freaking Rollins? Whoever tweeted Seth Rollins really should have tweeted somebody else, maybe an AJ Styles. Would you like to have a match with The Rock? Maybe I'd be talking about that, and I'd be more keen to see that. But I mean, yeah, AJ Styles and The Rock really would have a nice match. They would. They would have a good match, would Seth Rollins and The Rock. But am I really interested in seeing it? Does it make sense? No, it doesn't. Seth Rollins is absolutely stale as a babyface. Maybe if Seth Rollins were a heel and I was invested in his work right now, I would be interested in that. But Rollins is literally doing nothing. He's in a meaningless feud with Bray Wyatt, and at this point, I give less of a fuck about Seth freaking Rollins. Who the hell is Seth Rollins? No personality, no charisma behind Seth Rollins, and for that very reason, I think I do not want to see this match. I know I do not want to see this match because, to be quite frank, there are better options on the stacked WWE roster right now than Seth freaking Rollins. For now, ladies and gentlemen, click that freaking subscribe button because we're moving on to the next freaking story. Jesus Christ. Seth freaking Rollins, right? Jesus Christ. Oh my God. We've saved a very interesting one for last year. Brock Lesnar's WWE future in doubt. Will he sign a new deal with WWE after WrestleMania 34? Brock Lesnar has been the WWE Universal Champion since WrestleMania 33. Over the past few months, a rumor has been circulating that Lesnar will hold the title until the grandest stage of them all next year in New Orleans. However, the first title defense against Samoa Joe at WWE Great Balls of Fire and a rumored match with Roman Reigns at WWE SummerSlam could cut his Universal title run short. WWE officials have some decisions to make over the rest of the summer regarding Brock Lesnar's title reign because a title change will drastically alter how he's booked over the rest of the year and into WrestleMania 34. Lesnar's booking through next April is going to be really important because his current WWE deal is set to expire after the grandest stage of them all next year. WWE officials need to give him a reason to resign. The WWE Universe may not be pleased with Brock Lesnar's schedule as a WWE Universal Champion, but that criticism will diminish if he drops the title over the next couple months. There's a lot of speculation already about what Brock Lesnar will do after WrestleMania 34. On paper, he could re-sign with WWE or leave the company with more than enough money to last him and his family for the rest of their lives. As of this writing, it's unclear where Brock Lesnar is with WWE officials in terms of negotiating a new deal, but the Beast incarnate leaving the company could be a real possibility. There is no doubt that Lesnar is financially set for the rest of his life and doesn't need to work with WWE any longer. He doesn't need to work a single day in his life, and he would be fine with the money he has. However, still a very good chance that Brock will sign another contract with WWE before WrestleMania 34 next year. The fact of the matter is that Brock Lesnar has the most unique and profitable contract in WWE, which also lets him perform on a part-time basis. There's no denying his star power or the intensity he brings to a feud. It's worked for 5 years now, but it's very unlikely that Lesnar would want to walk away from such a lucrative contract with WWE. The only reason why he would leave now is that he's no longer interested in the money. Until something big changes, there's no reason for the WWE Universe to believe that Brock Lesnar is done with WWE after WrestleMania 34. If Lesnar vs. Reigns does happen at WWE SummerSlam, it will be interesting to see how WWE officials book him for the rest of 2017. No matter what happens over the rest of the summer, WWE fans should expect huge things from the Beast incarnate whenever he's in a WWE ring. Brock Lesnar, I'm not sure if he's going to resign. Really, it's up for debate if Brock Lesnar is going to resign. He's one of the biggest names WWE has. And really, Vince McMahon, when it comes to talking about this topic, should be sweating his balls off, bro. He really should. Because Brock Lesnar is one of those last part-timers who's going to be there and going to be able to pop a rating whenever he's there, is Brock Lesnar. I mean, Goldberg, you seen him last year, came in. Every time Goldberg came in, he would pop a rating. The Undertaker pops a rating. He's retired now. Now you pretty much only have a Brock Lesnar. That's pretty much it. Brock Lesnar. Besides that, you have absolutely nothing on paper that would produce ratings besides the quality of your show. And maybe that will motivate WWE to book a better show since they no longer have such a star power that will just let them get away and let them produce a nice little rating because this person is on the show. Now they're no longer going to have Brock Lesnar. And that starts to bring you into the scary reality, for WWE at least, that All these part-timers aren't always going to be there. The Goldbergs, the Undertakers, the Triple H's, the Brock Lesnar, they're not always going to be there. I mean, Undertaker's retired now, at least we think he is. Triple H, he is completely a businessman. He's completely working behind the scenes for WWE. I don't even think he should be stepping back in a WWE ring. I have no interest in that. Brock Lesnar's pretty much the only one left. And after that, you're pretty much relying on the WWE roster that you currently have. And I mean, you should be relying on the current WWE roster you currently have. You should be building new stars that will pop that rating for you. You should be doing that. But now WWE is going to be forced to book their stars better because they're no longer going to have a Brock Lesnar. They're no longer going to have... very soon they're no longer going to have a John Cena. They're no longer going to have a Randy Orton. And you have to put that into consideration. Do I think Brock Lesnar will resign? That is up for anyone to debate. He doesn't need to resign. Maybe he will. Maybe he won't. There are rumors of him wanting to continue and pursue his UFC career. Maybe he'll go full-time into that. But I don't know, bro. I do not know. Brock Lesnar certainly doesn't need to resign. You would see it getting a little stale after a while. You question what else could Brock Lesnar do for the WWE, because he's pretty much going to be facing everybody who they have. Samoa Joe, that's going to be done after Great Balls of Fire. That's going to be all said and done after Great Balls of Fire. You're going to have Roman Reigns. That's going to be all said and done if they do go with that after SummerSlam. Then you got a few select matches that you might want to see. Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman. Brock Lesnar versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Brock Lesnar versus Kurt Angle. And besides that, you really cannot depict a lot of other stars to go against Brock Lesnar. Why? Because Brock Lesnar is fucking beastly. He's a superstar. And WWE really has built a few amount of superstars up to that caliber of Brock Lesnar. And that once again goes to that point. WWE's done a fucking terrible job at building new stars. Yes, they have built some talents up well. They built Seth Rollins up decently, but is Seth Rollins a star? Is he going to pop a rating? Are people going to be excited to see Seth Rollins on your show? Hell no. Bray Wyatt's been booked like trash. So many people. Finn Balor is being booked like a generic Monday Night Raw superstar. Everybody is not being built, is not being taken and made a star like a John Cena, like a Randy Orton, like a Brock Lesnar. Those guys are on a different caliber than a Finn Balor, than a Bray Wyatt, than a Seth Rollins, because there was a different dynamic there. WWE is making a Seth Rollins, a Finn Balor, a Bray Wyatt. They're making them blend in to the same coat of paint as everyone else when they should be sticking out. They should be presented like superstars, like special attractions, and that's missing from modern day WWE. And that's why WWE has to rely on stars like Brock Lesnar to make people excited, to generate excitement, and that shouldn't be the case. That really shouldn't be the case. So if Brock Lesnar does decide to leave come the time to renegotiate his contract, it's going to be a scary, scary reality for WWE, and it's going to be interesting to see how they handle that. There's only a few select matches that I would love to see with Brock Lesnar left in the WWE. I mean, they're always grooming new talent. There are people already saying that they want to see Aleister Black from NXT go against Brock Lesnar. I'd love to see Aleister Black versus Brock Lesnar. But there's a lot of things in motion right now. It's just going to be interesting to see what happens with Brock Lesnar going into the future. And that's why I decided to include this article on Behind the Mic. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be it for Behind the Mic episode number 27. I hope you enjoyed every single little thing that you heard here in this video. Like I said at the beginning, make sure to go check out all the other content on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. So much other things to listen to here. You got your Monday Night Raw and Smackdown reviews for this week. Preview and predictions for WWE Great Balls of Fire went up last night. Review for that pay-per-view after it goes off the air tomorrow on Sunday. All that good stuff and so much more right here on Ringside Wrestling Entertainment. You don't want to miss a thing. Make sure to subscribe to the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel and click on that notification bell to not miss a single video. There's a bunch of shit on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel, and with your support, we're only getting bigger by the minute. So make sure to help out and hit that subscribe button. Make sure to leave a like if you like what you've seen here, and make sure to comment what you thought of all the news stories in this video here tonight. For now, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Behind the Mic, episode number 27. I hope you enjoyed every single little thing that you heard in this video, because for now, this has been Joel Perez of Ringside Wrestling Entertainment. This has been Behind the Mic, and for now, I am out of here. Thank you very, very much for watching this video. I'll see you tomorrow after WWE Great Balls of Fire goes off the air.